that's showing off. And that wasn't me. I didn't want to stand out from anybody else. I didn't want to actually make anybody look bad. And that's why I've always felt so bad about scoring that many points against one team. That I'm still embarrassed by it. And that's something I just can't get out of my head.
You know, Danny was the most introverted person I may have ever met. Danny was the one boy that I probably chewed out more than anyone had ever played for me. He didn't want to score, he didn't want to be seen.
Yeah, growing up, I was always a shy kid. It never left me. I didn't want to embarrass anyone. If you ask anybody in Burnsville, they will tell you I was the shyest person in town. And I am still to this day. I'm a very shy person.
You see, no one had seen the boy. His dad hadn't worked. He was a miner for 3 years. And I felt that he could play college ball somewhere, and he was a very intelligent kid. The grades were no problem. So I thought, well, you know, of all the kids, he's probably the most needy, and a free education would be great for a smart kid.
We had some hardships in our family. And my junior year in high school, my dad was working in the coal mines locally. And about noon, one day our house caught on fire. We lost everything. And my dad just came from the mines. He had just got laid off. And I can still see his face just standing there staring at the house, you know, because it was burnt completely to the ground. My dad, he had a bad cold and flu. And so Mom decided to stay. She told me, you beat this team pretty bad, boy. I think I'll just stay here and take care of your dad tonight. She was at every game except one. And that was a game I scored 135 points in.
Little Wyden now is nothing there. It was a coal mine town, but they had 3,000 people there at that time. We had 750 at Burnsville.
And right before we went out to warm up, Coach Stoniker said, I've never asked you guys to do this before, and I'll never ask you to do it again, but for one game, I want you to feed Danny the ball and see how many points he could score.
I came up with that on the way to the ball game that night.
And the reason was we were getting no publicity, and the coach wanted to do something to get the attention of scouts to just come watch us play because no scouts ever came. I was against it. You know, as we were warming up, I went to each player and asked them what they thought, and they all said, go for it.
We played 2 minutes and 29 seconds, and they're throwing Denny the ball, and he's throwing it back to him. And we're down 6 points.
I just couldn't do it, and they called timeout, and all the players were yelling at me to shoot the ball.
The kids more or less took over, and they chewed him out good. So I says, Danny, if you're not going to go on with this, we'll go back and play regular ball.
So I went back out, and the rest is history.
There were no seats. Everybody stood up. There was a balcony above that.
The gym was probably 20 feet smaller than the regular gyms. The ceiling was low. A lot of people would shoot and hit the ceiling. Everybody was right on top of you as far as the fans go.
And when you got out, you were standing against a cement wall taking it in and had 3 feet. Well, Danny was so quick. The guy took the ball out one time under the bucket, and Danny reached out right-handed, took the ball and put it in the bucket. The kid jumped out, took it, threw it in. Danny caught it left-handed and put it in. I looked at the clock, 2 seconds is gone. I thought that it'd be nice if he could score close to state record, and that would catch people's attention.
Yeah, I wanted the coach to take me out at halftime. I thought 55 points was enough, and all the teams said, no, let's go out and break the state record.
And when he got 80, I called timeout and took him out, and one of the kids said, well, the national record's 120. He said, just leave him in there yourself. I finally let him talk me into it and put him back in.
Once I got to 100 points, then every time I scored, the crowd would yell out how many points I had, and it was just, it's unbelievable. When somebody's saying you have 105 points, 107 points.
The frenzy that people were in, and the constant screaming, and it never let up.
After the game, they all come over and shook my hand, and even their cheerleaders come over and congratulated me, and they never seemed to have any hard feelings about it at all, but it was hard to look them in the eye for me, after what we had done to them. I never want to make anyone look bad, and I did that night. And then I didn't go home right after the game. My mom, she had already got the news when I finally went home, and she was jumping up and down and screaming and hugging me. She was a special woman.
He was pretty well shot after that game. The next night we played another little team, and he sprained an ankle. And then a major college came to see him the next night.
And finally a scout from West Virginia came, and he thought I was too slow, but I was playing on one leg at the time. So he just told the coach that I was slower than he thought I would be, and that was the end of that.
I started out with a good intent, and it ended up not being what I expected.
You talk about criticism. He's taken a lot of criticism over the years, but he stood by me the whole time.
I probably had 20 to 50 telegrams saying what an idiot I was.
And he just took the heat and never said anything about it.
That was a stupid idea on my part to begin with. He wanted no part of it.
I felt like I embarrassed another team. Wyden was a great little town. It was a coal mining town. They had great people. And then a lot of jokes were made of we were playing a school with a blind or in wheelchairs or something. And so I didn't want to deal with it, so I just never talked about it.
I know that I was never happy with it, and Danny was never happy with it.
It just stuck there. And even my kids tried to pry information out of me, and I have a hard time talking about it. It still bothers me.